Okay. I'm Francesca Visentin. I'm a PhD student in soil ecology at University of Parma. But before that, I graduated in veterinary medicine, and I had the occasion to work for several years in some rural areas. So what I'm talking to you today is livestock farming. That it's something I think that is linking my two field of study, and that it's something really important and challenging in this climate change situation that we have right now. We know, as it was said before, it's known that we have a big problem with agriculture and the management of agriculture, because it is a great source of greenhouse gas emissions. It is estimated by some studies that only domestic ruminants account for almost 12% of total greenhouse gas emissions. And the problem is not really the emission of CO2, but the emission of methane that has a greenhouse gas potential way stronger than CO2. Linked to agriculture, there is also a big problem with the loss of fertile soil due to erosion. And UN estimated that annually, globally, we lose from 28 to 75 billion tons of fertile soil. In the meantime, we also have a problem with the population growth, almost in some areas of the world, and in these areas there are also changing diet habits, because the diets are shifting to a more meat-based diet. So the problem of livestock farming is really growing, actually. But EPCC report told us also that in agriculture lays a great mitigation potential because of the capacity of the soil to stock carbon. And in livestock farming, I think it rests a lot of potential, because almost 70% of all the agricultural land is pasture right now in all the world. So being able to act and manage intelligently the pasture can really be part of the solution, not only for the mitigation potential, but also for the adaptation potential, because soils that stock more carbon are also more resilient, and so it can be a helping hand in both sides. Why it is a problem for this model of livestock farming? Because all over the world, for now we can see mostly two types of farming. There is the intensive livestock farming that we all know the problems, and I'm not going to talk about it right now. But something that is less known is that also the continuous grazing system carry a lot of potential of degradation and erosion of soils. We can see all these photos that I take come from alpine and pre-alpine region of Italy, and we can see how pastures can be really degraded also in our mountains. The first this photo on the top left, it seems a good pasture, but actually in this composition of plants, there's no plants with a nutritional value left on place, because leaving animals free to select their path of grazing and the plant from which to graze lead to an overgrazing of only some plants, and actually livestock can eat to death all the good essence of a pasture. So the nutritional values, of this pasture are really low. The other photos shows basically some erosion due to some overgrazing of the land. So we saw that cattle can be a really strong and fast destructor of soil, but managed intelligently, they can also be some really fast regenerators. How? Actually, changing the focus on the soil and the grass. So respecting the time of the resting time of the plant after a grazing period. The first one who theorized this kind of grazing, there is a rational grazing. It was Voisin, a French agronomist of the 50s, and it theorized actually the subdivision of the pasture in small parcels, and each parcel has to be grazed for few time, from 1 to 3 days maximum, from a lot of cattle. So there's no selection from the cattle of the grass, and then the cattle are moved. So they don't have the possibility to regraze the same plant before the total regeneration of the root of this plant and of the aerial part. With this kind of management, there is an increasing bibliography that says that there is not only a great increase of soil carbon intake. Some studies shows that the intake is even more than a no-tillage managed field. But there are also a lot of other benefits in managing the soil like that. Then there is like the increased soil quality and biodiversity, boosted water retention of the soils. It is very interesting that there is also a reduction of entering methane production by the cattle, because the forage that we give the cattle are really high in nutritional value, and so the efficiency of the digestion is really high. And also the performances of the cattle are increasing, like performances like the weight at the slaughter, and also the pregnancy rates and other like veterinary parameters that are really important to the farmer. And last, but I think it's not what is really important too, is that a great benefit is that the farmer is has a reduced dependence on fossil fuels because it doesn't have to farm the other fields to have the grain to feed the cattle, but also because the grains doesn't have to travel the world, because normally they fed the cattle with soya from Brazil or places like that. So all the production is really local, and so it can be useful for the soil, for the farmers, and for the animals. Okay, my presentation was really short, but I just wanted to actually give another point of view of the livestock farming, because for now it really has a bad reputation, and maybe changing the management technique can be can help in mitigation of climate change, but also in adaptation. This is a little list of bibliography that I used. Thank you very much.